get more further into that.
Well, I think let's take it here.
Okay.
Perhaps for the lay people in the audience who
Yeah.
aren't familiar with the education system,
Yeah.
just very briefly, 6334, as you see it,
Yes.
on the ground, what was it meant for?
Well, it was meant to hopefully find talent, help you know where your strengths are, and help you find a path that is perfect for you, help you follow your dreams. If you start your first 6 years of primary school, then you move into the next 3 years. The most important thing is to make sure that by your JS3, you know how to read, write, and arithmetic, the 3 R's, most important. At that stage, in my opinion, you're meant to have an assessment test to determine whether you proceed with the academic path, the sciences, the arts, the humanities, or move into the vocational, the technical. If you want to be a mechanic, you want to be a plumber, you want to be a hairdresser, move on. Where we are having challenges now is, and I printed out, and I think I showed you this before the session, where the federal government has introduced about 33 new subjects that we are meant to incorporate into the current curriculum.
Okay, let's pause it there. 33 new subjects to be incorporated into
Vocational
the current
subjects.
vocational subjects
Yes.
to be incorporated. You mentioned the automotive example and the challenges you would face of bringing a vehicle physically into your school premise and getting people to tinker
Auto
with it.
body repair and spraying, for instance.
All right, so let's use this as an example. And Professor Amin, let me bring you in here from a university perspective, from a tertiary education perspective. Do you believe that policy is being dictated from the top and forced through the system without the buy-in from those who are actually engaged in the education system?
No, I don't think that policy, if it is forced down, as you use the word, if it is forced down on people, will attract buying in. But I think that policies are made through consultations generally, and I think that that is what has been happening. But along the line, there may be one or two groups that may not be brought on board as a result of the policy. And if I may give you an example with the issue of autonomy, which my Honorable Minister mentioned, university autonomy, both the government and the universities want autonomy. But the misunderstanding is to what extent and what should it cover. We are for all-out autonomy in the university system, except, as the Honorable Minister said, financial autonomy. Because if you give us financial autonomy, it means that we will have to charge our students the full fees. And I don't think that Nigerian students, most of them, can afford to pay the full tuition fees in Nigerian universities. But other than that, I think that we are on the same page with government in terms of autonomy.
Dr. King, let me bring you in here from an external voice perspective. You've heard from those involved in the Nigerian education system in different levels. What are your thoughts as a foreigner looking into the Nigerian system?
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, one of the things that I'm really very excited about being here is discussing education among those of us who are concerned about the bigger economic growth and bigger economic problems in Nigeria. Because I think education, the challenges of education are much larger than just for education specialists. And it's really great to have also the students who are up in the, close to the rafters there, who are listening. I think the relationship of education to eliminating poverty, boosting the prospects for growth are very important. I think I've already heard several really terrific messages here, Bronwyn. One is that it's not only about bringing young people to school, it's about making sure that they learn, making sure that what they learn is relevant, making sure that the relevance is for life, for work, for citizenship. These are very, very important issues. And I also heard the concern about not having enough information for good policy making. and not having enough information for good investments. Because I think evidence-based policymaking, evidence-based investments are much better, of course, than blind policymaking and blind investments. So I would say these are also some of the key issues that we've seen in other countries. So quality, but it's not only about quality, it's not only about inputs, it's about the learning outcomes, it's about relevance to life in general, and also the importance of monitoring.
Paul, let me bring you in here as Vice President, International Partnerships Association of Canadian Community Colleges. Now, I believe there are about 130 institutions in your fold. Not only do you work with those institutions, but also you are involved in reform in education across the globe. And here I mention not only Africa, but also Brazil, China, etc. Again, let's get your view looking into Nigeria.
Somebody must have seen me.
Very honored to be here. I think one of the reasons I was invited is because of this role that we have, not only of having an association of 130 technical colleges and institutes, but also we chair the World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics. And so that allows me, in a very privileged fashion, to be able to visit a number of countries and to be able to see what's working and what isn't throughout the world. I think one of the comments I would make in terms of Nigeria that is the importance of partnership. And it's not a partnership discussion, I would say. It's a policy issue. The places that are doing well make sure that it is mandatory for the people that are developing curriculum, developing programs, to interact in an ongoing manner with the employers of that sector, be they large or small. In Canada, we have program advisory committees for every single program that's developed. And those people, the program is not developed until the people that are employees themselves are hiring those employees, give their input into what should we be training for, what are the jobs like.
Paul, sorry, okay. Technical. This is generally where we go to an advertisement break and we rework the technicalities, but I'm going to need to brief each speaker. If you can make sure that you're speaking into the mic because our audience is battling to hear us.
Okay.
So just tilt the mic towards you.
Okay.
There we go, and make sure, great. And that for all the speakers, please. Thank you. That was the commercial break. We now go back into our broadcast.
Private sector.
So I think it is a policy issue to make sure that the partnership between employers and the school system, the vocational, technical, university, and other system is there. Because no government can be aware of the rapid changes in the economy that are constantly affecting us. What are the new jobs of tomorrow? Are we preparing people for jobs of tomorrow or jobs of yesterday? Are we preparing people for unemployment and being street kids, or are we preparing them for employment? And that's the critical issue. And so it requires a partnership between those two sectors. And it requires then to reward in the right places. So we no longer use quality measures that just focus on, well, how many students do we have and how many teachers and how many graduated? One of the major new indicators that we use is what percentage of your graduates obtain employment or create a new small business. That becomes, and that is published, independently verified, and the ratings on each program, each institution are published. And so if you are not doing a good job of preparing your learners to be able to get a job, people know about it, and when they know about it, the institution itself has to start changing. So it's this type of new partnership, a dynamic partnership at the base between employers and the education system that is, I think, our only hope of making progress. And many countries are now starting. China has just adopted it, this year, for example.
And I see Alex there agreeing vehemently with what you are saying. Minister, if I can bring it back to you, and let's wrap up on the policy discussion now, but perhaps this highlights the issue, is the inconsistency of policy that has been alluded to in the task team, the education task team on education. 8 federal education ministers over 12 years. Perhaps that just puts things into perspective. What are your thoughts in terms of consistency at the top?
Thank you very much. First of all, I disagree with the fact that ministers don't make policies. The policy of education is being the National Council on Education, makeup of commissioners of various states, all agencies of government, and Ministry of Education.